Welcome to What's Going On, the weekly podcast and videocast of First United Methodist Church in Yankton, South Dakota.
Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of What's Going On. I'm Pastor Katie here at First United Methodist, and I'm glad you could join me for this episode. In this episode, I have Tiffany Beste with me once again. And if you were in worship this last week, you might have an inkling as to why. Tiffany, when did you get hired on initially at the church? Do you remember what year that was?
2017.
So 2017, you got hired here at the church for a part-time position in children's ministry.
Yep.
And you did that role. You were in that role when I came in 2020.
Yep.
And you were trying to have that role until because initially you came to me and you're like, it's too much. It's too much to do a full-time job and to do this.
Yeah.
And then very quickly changed your tune and took on the youth ministry.
Yeah. Made my full-time job here, which made it more manageable. Yeah.
So, and that officially took effect, I think, 2021.
Yes. Yep. Correct.
So 3 years here at the church in full-time work.
Yep.
And we've been so blessed, but you have a new chapter beginning starting this summer. And
Yes.
so why don't you share a little bit about the opportunity you have in front of you?
Sure. I will be becoming the Yankton School District Technology Integrationist. And that's kind of always, when I was in the education world, what my ultimate goal was, if that's where I was going to stay in the education world. So when I first started teaching, I was a PE and health teacher and really loved it, but knew that it wasn't something I would do forever. And while working, this opportunity came up in the state to get a master's in technology, and proceeded to get that, and really, really enjoyed working with computers, working with kids, working in that setting. So after I got that degree, I became a computer applications teacher, and really, I thought I was going to do that forever. I thought I was going to teach kids how to use computers for the rest of my life. Opportunity opened up in Yankton for Tony, which was great. And when I came down here, it just wasn't the same fit. I wasn't really teaching computers anymore. My kids used computers, but it was just different. And was here for about 9 years doing that, and then had taken on the children's position at church. And it just was too much. And kind of with others, COVID hit, and it was sort of a breaking point of, how am I going to move forward from COVID? And the church had the openings come up with the youth ministry and the technology. And really 3 years ago was incredibly grateful for the opportunity the church was willing to put together and provide, and give me that opportunity to do that here. I was definitely at a point where I needed that. And I think the church was kind of at a point where they needed me, to do those things. You were on new, and you had taken on all of that stuff outside of the children's ministry, which had kind of, during COVID, it kind of settled down a little bit because we weren't meeting in person. But I mean, I just knew that those were areas that I could take over and help you out, and hopefully just help see us through. Who knew at that time how long COVID implications would last, but was able to take over some of that. And I think, since the summer of 2021, I think we've just progressively continued to move forward in a lot of areas. And I think we're back to a point now where some of these areas are maybe a little bit able to sustain themselves a little bit better than they were at that time. I mean, at that time, it was just really hard to make all those things happen with the different places people were at in their life at that time. And a new pastor, COVID, lost a couple part-time positions. So, I think it just was really good timing for the church and myself. And, I had approached Katie at that same time when I started saying this particular position had opened up in the school district. And I said, "God, I'm just so torn, because this is what I wanted to do. but I've committed to the church and I want to do this. And I don't remember what Katie said at that time, but it led me to continue to go with the church. And I do really feel like that was a really good choice at that time. And I told myself then, this position at the district will open up again. It will. I don't know when, but it will, and we'll see where things are at that time. I didn't honestly think it would be 3 years. I figured it would be 5 to 10 years down the road. But then it did open up. And I told Pastor Katie too, ironically enough, when she gave us our star words in January, my star said path. And at the time I was like, interesting. You never know. You just don't know what that might mean or where it might take you. But eventually, I think late February or mid-February, that position opened up and I was like, interesting. So not saying it was the star word that pushed me that direction, but it just made me think a little bit like the church is better than I think when I came in 2021. It just and a lot of that was just very COVID related.
Absolutely.
And we've taken large steps forward in the last 3 years across the board with just people becoming more ignited within the church. Like my volunteer base has grown immensely since 2021. It was still hard to find people to help then. And over time, it's just grown and grown and grown. So I feel like we're in a better position there. And, some of the wrinkles of things as far as really getting 605 up and running, it's now there. It's at that point because we had kind of started it, but then COVID hit and we still weren't quite there. So now we've kind of seen what that can look like. Youth group is doing well. And, I'll throw in there too that I do plan to continue with our youth group, and I'm really excited about that. I do believe that when I work with kids, that is my age group. And when we say youth group, we're talking middle school and high schoolers. And I enjoy Wednesday evenings here, but like youth group fuels me. It energizes me. I love working with those kids. So I plan to continue to do that and look forward to doing that. But yeah, that's kind of what brings us to where we are right now. The position opened, and there were plenty of people in the district that knew that was a position that I had an interest in. And so in some discussions of, what do you think? There was encouragement from that end to apply and to give it a shot. And Pastor Katie was great. She wasn't excited about it, but she said, yep, you need to see how this goes, where this goes. And so it's ending up to work out. And I am, I'm excited about the job in the district. As I've said, it's kind of what my goal has been. And honestly, what my goal has been for the last 15 years when I think about being in education. But there are definitely days where I wake up and I'm like, oh, am I doing the right thing? Like it's definitely not an easy decision. And I really have enjoyed the last 3 years. There's not a part that I'm running from or getting away from. It's just this particular opportunity in this position was something I just felt like I had to put myself out there for. And I'm hoping that it goes really well. And I'm glad that I'm still going to get to stay here involved in church as well.
Yeah, and I think it's important to name that really this is not a goodbye at all, because we're actually retaining you as staff, just not in the full capacity that you are now.
Right.
You will no longer be full-time with us,
Right.
and you will be just retaining the youth ministry piece of it, which means that we'll have and we've begun the process of looking at what does that look like for what we need moving forward in children's ministry, the 605 piece, and technology. And some of those things look realistically will get absorbed in with the current staff, but some of them might turn into a part-time position, or are really looking at getting kind of some I hate the word committee. It's almost like a dirty word, like a team.
Task force, I think, was a term which was good because it's doing things, it's being involved.
And one of the things that I've always been so appreciative, I really felt 3 years ago that we had somehow gotten this massive coup to get Tiffany to come work here rather than this. I was like, I don't know how we manage this, but like I'm gonna hold on to it for dear life because it's been such a blessing. And I agree with her assessment that in particular, in the time that it happened, it was the thing that was needed. Um, Coming off of COVID, me being it is really difficult to learn a new church in COVID. And so having kind of those extra things on my plate and having to ramp up our technology so quickly and so um and if you were here, you remember that that was a bumpy road before Tiffany kind of came on. Um, and so yeah, we've come leaps and bounds in so many ways. And I think to give credit where credit due, Tiffany's been a part of a lot of those things. You know, it's not the sole reason, but she's a big
No.
part of that. And we've been so blessed to have you here. And we are going to continue to be so blessed.
Yes. I
Um,
was actually thinking earlier this week that like for a lot of people in our church, if we didn't tell them my position was changing, they probably wouldn't even realize it. And outside of the fact that we have to look for some people to fill some of the holes, you're still going to see me on Sunday mornings, and you're still going to
right,
see me if you're here on Wednesday nights. We have a few that wander in throughout the week who might be like, "Hey, where's Tiffany been?"
right,
But really, for a large majority of our congregation, they probably wouldn't even realize the difference, just as far
right.
as like everything's going to continue that has been happening. I'm still going to be visible at our visible times, and it's going to continue as it has been. So as interesting as it is that we do need to put it out there and we need to let people
Yeah,
know and things are going to be a little bit different, there's a lot of people that wouldn't really know the difference if we weren't telling them. So, and
exactly.
that's good. That's how I want it to look.
Right.
That's how I think I mean, it will just help us continue forward without any big hiccups along the way.
And I think it makes it easier to leave if you feel like things are not going to implode because
Yeah.
of
Oh,
our position.
absolutely. Yeah. And honestly, you know, like you were saying, 3 years ago, we were just in a challenging spot.
Mhm.
But the amount of people who have stepped up to help in a variety of ways over the last 3 years, I know are going to continue in those same ways. And so it's really nice from my end how much that group of people has grown. And I think I remember you telling me once that if I do my job well, I I wouldn't be needed, which kind of scared me 3 years ago because I was like, whoa, 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 whoa,
Want to be
I need to have a
needed.
job here. But I'm kind of feeling a little bit like it if you know if I did just walk away, the people would come in at their times and they would continue to do the things that they've been doing. And I don't know that this full-time position is as needed as it was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's great. Like I feel as though we've accomplished a lot in the last 3 years, and it makes me feel good being able to step away from some of the
Yeah.
things.
Well, and again, I think it's a testament to the things that you've built and the systems and again, the drawing in the people and helping people feel equipped and part of what they're doing and passionate and understanding.
Yeah.
Uh, and again, like you said, more and more people
Yes.
are plugging in, and
Yeah.
that's
Finding,
awesome.
like we've talked about, finding their area of which they want to contribute and they're good at contributing. And we have definitely started to find those people, which is
Yeah.
great.
And for you, and you kind of mentioned it already of that the youth ministry piece, which I don't know if you probably would have anticipated that 3 years ago, being the piece where you're like, that's the part that fills my soul. Like
Yeah,
that's
you know, well, and it's
fulfilling
it's
for me.
interesting because 3 years ago, when you worked with middle school kids all day, every day, I probably wouldn't have said that, because like it's just I was getting my fill all day, every day. And so coming in and working with the kids on Wednesday nights or Sunday mornings was a good fit at that time. But as it evolved into, I had the children and I had the youth and I had the technology, um, I like I said, I still believe middle school and high school kids are my thing, they're my jam. And 40 hours a week was enough of them before, but
Yeah.
I really enjoy that 1 hour a week or whenever it is, that we're doing those opportunities where we're on the road going somewhere or whatever it might be. We just have a really great group of youth, and we have great kids too. Like
Yeah.
across the board, we have really good kids and youth and teenagers that come in every Wednesday night. But I think that age group is just really special to me, and I'm grateful that I get to keep working with them.
Yeah, and I totally understand that. I mean, in my background, youth ministry has been a big part of it, and there is something special about youth that age and in their faith journeys because it's a very honest, very, you know, they're trying to make sense of things and understand and having real questions of, is this
Yeah,
something I want to pursue? And you can
yeah,
just have these really incredible breakthroughs and really
yeah.
incredible deep converse. And people think like youth ministry, and I'm like, yeah, I had some of
I
the
know.
best moments
Yep.
working with youth.
Yeah.
And
But
and
I can see, on Wednesday nights, the ladies that are working with our children, you can see that that's a great fit for them too.
yeah,
So it's just like education. Everybody
yeah,
has their niche in which they really have a preference, and it seems to be a good fit. And I think that we're really there right now with all the
yeah.
people that we have helping, and that's what we would just want to see continue.
Yeah, and again, like I feel very confident that moving forward, yeah, we're in from the vantage point of the pew, there's not going to be a significant difference
No.
in what you experience at church. Uh,
Yep.
and that's our hope, but we also will be I'm working with our PR team as part of leadership team to kind of, we've been looking at the different roles that Tiffany's been filling to kind of decide how some of these things might get covered. And so in the coming weeks and months, you're going to see some opportunities present themselves, and we might even be calling you if we feel
Hmm.
like God might lead you to that
Yeah.
you'd be a good fit. And so again, it gives us more opportunity as the church to continue to be the church. And Tiffany again has been such a gift in this time. And I've told many people one of my favorite parts of serving Yankton has been getting to work with Tiffany. So um
I appreciate that. And I think too, the other nice part that people who might right now be saying, oh, maybe this is something I could do. I'm still here. So you're not stepping into these roles all by yourself, trying to figure out how
right.
it was working and what was being done. Like I'm still here. And so that
Right.
I think is really nice too, in that um
There's training.
they yeah, yeah. And before I got into children's ministries, and even at this point now, when my kids are involved and when I know that, I've gotten to know the kids here at church incredibly well, from the preschoolers to the high schoolers. And I want to see things go well for the next person and for those kids.
Yeah.
So I'm not just going to walk away and be like, oh, good luck. I want to see that transition be really smooth and to be helpful in any way that I can be.
All right. So let's say top three highlights of working
Oh,
time in the church.
oh man. I really feel like, and it's all encompassing, and it's probably not a fair highlight, but I don't think up until this point right now in making this transition that I've really stopped to look back over the last 3 years. And I really look back to, June 1st of 2021 when I came on, and having had the conversations with you, it was a really stressful time. Like there was just so much going on in the policies of COVID, and how do we get people to come back? And, it just, I wish that I could go back and like live in one of those days again, because when you're just living it, you just do it. And there was almost a survival mode-ish.
Yeah.
And I look at the place that we're at now, and it's definitely not survival anymore. It's like I want to say thriving. I really do. Like we are moving forward. We are taking steps forward. And I just feel like we are in so much better place right now than 3 years ago. And it seems so long ago, but yet not that. Like I can't believe it's 3 years. Like I can't believe it's been 3 years that I've been here. So
Yeah.
I think the highlight in general is just how much progress we've made in the last 3 years. Really, that will probably stand out to me. Like really feeling as though something got accomplished. And part of it was just the point we were starting at, but just really feeling as though in the last 3 years we've done some stuff. I would also say a highlight of mine, and this is gonna sound, it was going down to Kansas City for our professional development, our like
Oh
going to
my
that
goodness, I
church.
didn't even think that we're not going to do that now.
I know that I don't know if I can get the time off for that. I don't think that's gonna happen. But it was always so like, and again, I can think back to each of the 3 years that we went and going in 2021, how like where the state of the church at that time, it was hard. It was hard to be excited because everybody was so just like, can we do this? Are we going to get through this? What's going to happen? And, the evolution over the 3 years to this last year when we went, just it's so going to a service in that church and listening to all the people talk from there, it just gives you hope. It gives you vision. It gives you like, okay, this is where we could get to. This is what we can do. There's some really great things happening and we can incorporate them in our own special way here in Yankton. And I've told my family some weekend we're going to go to Kansas City just to go to a service there because it's just
Yeah.
amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really truly a highlight and something I never would have done or even thought about going to Kansas City for a weekend to go to a service there until this job provided me that opportunity. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, it's hard. So if you get an opportunity, I really think you should try to
Well,
go do
I
it.
mean, I guess I'm looking for
A new partner,
a new
maybe some new
partner.
people to go with you. Yeah,
And
and
the
it was
other
great for
highlights
Katie and
are,
I. Yeah.
yeah, I'm a really fun road buddy. I mean, we sing,
We do sing a lot of
we do,
songs. We had
I
a good
think,
time. And it was good for Katie and I to just remove ourselves from the office and check in with each other, as far as the church is going, but personally, and where were we at with things
yeah.
and just feeling renewed coming back as far as, okay, how can we continue to evolve and change and better? So that was really good. And I'll miss those 3 days. They were fun.
And forcing
Um,
you to eat different kinds of food.
But
And
yeah, she definitely made me step outside my box a little bit, which was good. Got to stay in a home that didn't have running water for a night, and we just
there,
experienced
there were
a
some
few things.
adventures, definitely.
No, so those were good.
Yeah.
And outside of that, I think too, as we were talking about working with the middle schoolers and high schoolers, like I don't know, maybe that's not a highlight for this particular job, but I know the highlight for me is Wednesday nights. And I love that every kid that walks into the building, I know who they are. I know their name. I can say hi to them. And I'm thinking back to, so we've been members of the church for 13 years, which makes our large junior class, and we've got a senior too. They were like 4 when I came. And I was teaching Sunday school, so it was kind of hit and miss of which kids in particular I had at that time. But I can think back to some of these kids and I can envision their faces as 4 and 5-year-olds. And now having been a pretty big part of that journey for them over the last, it's been 7 years as far as in a position, but getting to know them when they were younger as their Sunday school teacher, I just and knowing them personally and where they are as people and where they are as Christians, again, there's sort of a sense of like, hey, we're doing it. Like we're making it happen with these kids because they are believers and they are committed to doing good and to being involved and being active. And I know that we've got a big group that's going to graduate in a year, and I don't want to see those kids go, but I'm also like, but they're going to be okay. And they're going to come back and they're going to stay involved. And that makes me feel really happy too. So it's kind of part of the job, but it's kind of just part of having been here and worked with those kids. But again, those are the things that really stand out to me, that I'm glad to have been part of all of that.
I'm curious, what do you think going back into the school system after having been in a church now for 3 years? What is something that has changed in you or that you are going to bring back to your new job um, because
A
of
lot.
working here?
I really think a lot. Like, I'm certain that there have been youth lessons that I have taken more from than our youth kids. Partially because I have the experiences to really like take something from it. But I've just really learned a lot about my patience side, I think, has grown. My empathetic side, I think, has grown. I still need to, I'm not great. I'm not perfect at it, and I never will be. And I think I've learned that too. Like, I am not perfect, and that's okay. And I think there was 18 years of teaching where that was my expectation,
Mm,
that I needed to do my job very well every day. And of course, that's still a goal. I think innately in humans, you want that. But I do believe that being forgiving of myself, I have recognized that a lot. Um, just maybe having a better understanding of what everybody's bringing into every day. Like, you might think that you know where people are at in their lives and in their world, but you don't. You really don't. And so just um like I said, just being more understanding, being more asking questions instead of making assumptions.
mm,
I don't know why, but in the last 3 years, I just feel as though the scriptures that I've read or presented or heard or whatever it might be have just had an opportunity to hit home more. And I think I am really hopeful. I want to be very intentional on holding on to those things, because I know that when you get into that school setting, it is just constant go, 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 and the exhaustion sets in, and sometimes you just run out. And I want to not get to that point. I want to be able to do a better job of taking a step back and saying, I need to draw a boundary here. I need to draw a
mhm.
line here. Um, this is not, this is not, this is not my fault. This is something that I can help make better, but it just is it's the situation that I'm in right now. And I really do feel over the last 3 years that I've recognized those areas in my life. I have just been surrounded by it. And I mean, to you, Katie, like, you are so good at like the deep breath of, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And as my mantra has changed over the years here, it's fine. It's all fine. It's going to be fine. It really is. And I was, even just today, I was putting together the youth lesson for tonight, and our topic tonight is give it to God. And I think that those types of things just, I would go to church on Sunday mornings and I would hear the sermon, but then I would walk into school on Monday morning and it would just kind of be gone. And I think because over the last 3 years, it's been more consistent. I really, really am going to make efforts to keep it, like, just to, if there's something that's big, instead of holding it all in and managing it all myself, give it to God, be patient, be forgiving of myself and others and everybody. And I really, like, you have modeled that so well for me, that I don't know that I saw that in a lot of other areas in my life before. And my goal then is also to maybe allow other people to see that it's
Yeah,
okay. We're okay. We're gonna get through this. We're gonna get to tomorrow. And I
yeah,
I I'm really hopeful that people might be like, wow, thanks. Like,
yeah.
thank you. And maybe knowing my background might be like, hmm, I wonder where this comes from. Because
Right.
there's only so much you can do and say in your
Yeah.
education setting, but just, and we talk about to our youth kids, sometimes you just have to model it. You don't
Hmm.
have to say why, you don't have to say where it comes from, you just have to model it and be the fruits of the spirit, just be out there in the world doing that. And that is my goal. I want to be able to carry over all the things that I've taken in the last 3 years into a new work environment, but still hold on to those things that are really important.
One more question along those lines, and then we'll wrap up. What, for someone who might be considering a job in a church in the future,
Yeah.
what is the most surprising thing about working in a church?
Um,
Or at least in this church, since that's your experience. So,
I would say when you come to church on Sunday mornings, um, you see the church, you see the church people, you see the this 1 hour today, I'm going to pray to God, I'm going to give it to God, I'm going to have really great conversations with people. It's all very good. Like, it's all like, oh, it must be just really great to work at the church. Everybody must just be happy all the time. And I think that what you discover, we have really great people here. We really do. But we're all human.
mm-hmm.
And we all have opinions and thoughts and ideas. And like what I've also discovered is that, like, the way I vision something is never going to look the way everybody else visions it. And I think that I've come to like understand that too. Like, so I thought something was going to go a certain way, and I was way wrong on what somebody else thought how it was going to go. And that doesn't make my way wrong or their way wrong, but it just makes me realize that, like, there's so many different experiences and backgrounds that people come with, that they all have different views of what's going to happen. And so I love our church. I love going to church on Sunday mornings, but you discover that you're working with human beings every day. And we are all imperfect, and we all have, sometimes when we care passionately about something, which I believe we have people in this church that really do, sometimes we let those passions kind of put up a blinder to, like, how we might be making somebody else feel during that time. And so we really need to practice those conversations of, we both care immensely. Let's talk about how we can get to the point that we want to be at, and remember that we want to care about each other while we do that. And so that, I would say, that was, I mean, I love the people that come in Monday through Friday. Like, it's great to see the faces of the people that you see on Sunday mornings, but they also come in whether they have a question or need help or are helping with something. And it's really good to see them just as regular people too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and not that if you're in church, you're not a regular person, you totally are, but you just get to see them on a Tuesday morning. And you know what? They might have their pajama pants on and a sweatshirt, and their hair might be pulled up into a messy bun. And I love it. Like that is seeing them in their reality. And I just appreciate that side of the church now more than I ever could have before, because I was here on Sunday mornings and Wednesday evenings, a little before this
Yeah.
all got started. But just recognizing that all the people that come into the sanctuary on Sunday morning, that we view a certain way, when you see them at different times outside of that, like, we are all so human. We are all so normal. We are all so just, it's good to have those relationships outside of the sanctuary too, because
Yeah.
that's where you really start to bond with the people that you see on Sunday mornings.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. I thought for a moment till she said Tuesday that she was describing me with the bun and the hair, sweatpants.
No, whoever it might be that
I don't
wonders.
think I've ever worn sweatpants to church.
No, I don't think we've gone that far. No,
We did wear the
pants.
pajama pants.
We did the one Sunday for Christmas. Yep.
Yeah, that was
Yep.
fun.
Or not Sunday.
But
work
we
day.
picked a day
Yeah.
and had Christmas
Had our
outfits.
shirts. Yeah. Well, that was
Yeah.
a fun dress up day though.
We
And
did.
that's the kind of stuff that's fun. Like,
Yeah.
you don't get to do that on Sunday mornings.
Yeah. We have
Yeah.
fun sometimes. So
Yep.
well, Tiffany, I hope you know how grateful. There's a reason we did this by Zoom. I told Tiffany it was because I'm too lazy to set up somewhere else, but really is I can't face her. But thank
There's
you.
a barrier when it's through a
There's-
computer screen. It's just easier.
Exactly. Yeah. But thank you for
No, you're welcome.
being here and all that you've done.
Stop it. You're not supposed to do that. You're welcome. And I truly am grateful for Katie and the church for providing me the opportunity for the last 3 years. Like, needed on my end too. Definitely.
And looking forward to continue working with
Yeah.
you and supporting you in this new role. And you get to be in the
Absolutely.
new building when it comes.
Yeah, I'm excited
So,
about that. In a year from now, when the TLC building is built, that's supposedly where my office will be. So
yeah.
get to be in the new and exciting environment of what's happening out there with all the littles. So it'll be good. I'll still be around. I will still and even like, now when I occasionally get to see our kids in school, I'm kind of looking forward to when, I'm working with all those elementary kids in a different area.
Yeah.
So exciting.
Yeah.
They make me feel good. Yeah.
So again, wonderful, wonderful blessing. And so again, be aware that some of those pieces that Tiffany has been doing, we will be looking for people to take some of those on. So be on the lookout for that. And if that's something that maybe God is laying on your heart, I would love to have a conversation with you. Most of what Tiffany has done are things that can be learned.
Yeah,
and we
definitely.
would be happy to, I mean, especially because you're going to notice at some point the editing on these podcasts going down significantly. If I have to edit, because it's incredibly hard to edit yourself, because I just watch it and go, well, you look stupid.
No, Katie does a really good job every week. There's actually very little editing that I have to do. So sometimes there's just a few moments that make me chuckle and I'm like, yeah, we better take that out.
Although I do like the idea of me being in control of any blooper reel that might be in existence.
Right.
So,
There might be a surprise blooper reel along the way here. Who knows?
but as far as things happening, the rummage sale is coming up, and so it'll be shortly that you can start bringing your items in. Just be watching the bulletins, announcements for that type of stuff. We'll also send out messages. Again, if you have bigger items that need to be picked up, know that give us a call and we'll get that arranged. We're happy to do that. Also, May 5th is Confirmation Sunday, and so I want you to get that on your calendar. So we'll have rummage sale weekend, and then that Sunday is Confirmation. The following Sunday, Mother's Day, will be our graduation
Yes. Yep.
recognition Sunday for our high school and any college graduates that we have around. And so we've got some exciting things coming up.
And this Sunday, the 21st, is Volunteer Appreciation Sunday.
That's right.
Also. Yeah.
So you're definitely
that's
going to
coming
come
up.
for that. We've got I forget what we've named it, but there's going to be special treats.
Yes. Yep. Make
There's a
your own
clever
trail
name
mix.
that is escaping me at the moment.
Popping up something.
Popping up appreciation or
Yeah, something like that.
something like that.
Yep.
Clearly,
Yeah.
I did not come up with it because it's too creative for
Because
me.
it's not yours. Yep. No, so that'll be good too. So that's this Sunday, and we do have a lot of volunteers in this church. So please come and be recognized, because we couldn't do the things that we do without you guys.
Absolutely.
So we'd love to have you here.
I mean, us as staff, we really our job is to support and empower the church to be the church, and it's all of you that are the church and the work that you do, and so you deserve the credit and the recognition, and we just want to do that for you.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you, Tiffany. I'll probably have you on again before.
One
That
final
would be the
farewell.
real-
We'll have some VBS updates we'll have
Yeah.
to put out there. And if you want to add those dates to your calendar too, August 8th through the 11th, VBS on your calendars. We'll see you there.
Joins with UCC and Trinity.
Yep,
this
Trinity.
year, so,
Yep. It's going to be a
very
big deal.
excited.
Yeah.
But we'll have Tiffany back on. We'll do a big cry sesh then.
No, hopefully not.
All right. Well, have a great day. God bless, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of What's Going On. We'd love to have you join us for worship here at the church on Sundays at 10 a.m. You can also find us online via our website at firstumcyankton.org or search for us on YouTube.